I lost my internet. I lost my internet. And then it wouldn't come back on. I was in the middle of a story, darn it. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I don't know what happened to my internet. Hi, Patty Segovia. Man, I was barely getting into a story and I lost the internet connection. And of course, I don't have internet because, hey, they wanted $20 a month Spectrum. And I'm like, $20 a month is $240 a year. And I don't have a job. So, no. It's like, no, that's a budget. That's something that you have to work into a budget. Good morning, St. Martinez. I lost my internet. Darn it. I don't even know how many people were on that live. Good morning, Jenny. But like I was saying, if I don't tell you a story, them haters are not going to know it. But I'm not angry at the person that came into my little 10-minute video yesterday and started Bible thumping on me about how we have to put out the other cheek. And I told her, yeah. I told her that's on Mark 5:39. And if you're going to Bible thump to me, at least give me the Bible scripture. Don't be putting different emails out there, because every time she came back with a different email. Easter lilies, he has risen, Jesus is Lord. So she came back like 3 times, and 3 times she had different emails. So I'm not going to block her. I'm just going to leave all the messages there. I wasn't laughing at anybody. And Ophelia says she is. And she's going to cuss him out. So, but that's Ophelia's choice. And like I was saying, we've had here. And this is how come most people in South Texas are hard on everybody. Not only were we, especially our generation, we were raised working in the fields with parents that were already frustrated because they had to figure out how to make their kids work with them to be able to make it by the end of the week, to pay the bills. And, sometimes we felt like we didn't have to work because our dad was the general farm contractor. But we still had to work because he needed his children to show that the other children had to do the same. So it's like, it was his way of telling everybody, we're all the same. My kids are not better than your kids. If your kids are working the fields, my kids will be working the fields too. But that's one of the reasons that we're hard. And like I was saying about that man under the bridge, he was there almost 2 years. Nobody laughed at his situation. They all gave him water when they felt like it was too hot for him to be sitting there. And, he had a little sign that he was a veteran and stuff. And we don't know where he came from. Now, the one that's there now, we know he's from Port Mansfield. And he is a man with a lot of money. But he and his brother choose to be there. And there's still people that, even though they know that he has a lot of money, will still buy him a drink and a taco. It's like, but don't tell me that I'm laughing at these people's situation, because that's what they chose. And then I was talking about my ex-husband and how my sister Frances was telling me, you could have been living these 2 years that you haven't worked with your daughter and helping her raise her 3 children that she adopted. And yes, I could have been over there for these last 2 years, but I would have been placed in a situation. Let's go back to that story. I would have been placed in a situation where I would have been fighting with this person constantly on a daily. Because even when I go to visit my daughter, in 24 hours, he will start finding ways to argue with me. And it's like I'm not there to even see the man. He needs to stay in his room. He has his own room. Clean it, you know. That's the way I feel about it. Clean your room, close the door. You got your TV in there. Nobody needs to see you while I'm here. You know, and I could have been there for 2 years, but I've been here for 2 years. And I've seen my little birds grow their family in the last 2 years. You know, do they stay inside the house most of the time? Yeah, my birds stay inside the house, but I clean under them. I clean them. You know, it's like, no, I can't blame the birds for my house, my table being dirty. It's me. It's good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Nancy. But if I don't tell you a story, you're not going to know it. If I don't tell you, hey, I can't go and live at my daughter's house because my ex-husband lives there. And me and my ex-husband do not get along. That's why I divorced him. It's like if I didn't tell you he was at the point of, living under a bridge himself. And my daughter picked up the phone and told me, Mom, Dad's living in the streets. Can he come back and live with me? She asked me for permission because I left her the house and moved away myself. And I told her, you've been living by yourself for 3 years, mija. You've been living in that house 3 years already by yourself. You're making it on your own. Why do you want the responsibility of somebody that's just going to be a pain in your behind? And I want to let y'all know that just like Priscilla said on my sister's show, I love my mom. Do you all know how hard it was for me to hear Priscilla? Because I was hearing my daughter in her voice when I got that phone call. And my daughter said, he's my dad. And I told her, I had to be hard, and I told her, he's your dad. You do what you have to for your dad. But don't cry when I tell you, I told you so. My daughter has been married for almost 10 years. And every time he pulls crap with my son-in-law, and my son-in-law calls me, my daughter has to hear, I told you so. So don't think that Priscilla had it easy. She didn't have it easy. Having drug issues with her mom and the partner living in her house, calling her kids names on a daily, and probably arguing with her dad that is handicapped in her house also. Priscilla doesn't have it easy. So, but I'm still not laughing at that person's situation. She chose that situation because even though Priscilla did not have it easy, Priscilla was still telling her mom, just get rid of the dogs and we'll fix the garage for you. She chose not to get rid of those dogs. So when I'm being hard and telling you, if a person makes a choice, there's consequences. For every action that we do, in life, for every action that we take, there is a consequence. But don't come to one of my shows to tell me that I'm not being godlike or that I'm not being a Christian when I'm not even laughing. I'm just saying it how it is. It's like you choose these things. I had to eventually move away from that area and come back to my roots because I couldn't handle the fighting with the parents on a every Friday or every weekend when he needed more money and they didn't have money to give him. And then when are you going to tie up your eggs and say, I have a problem? He had gone, and I had left him when 5 years into the marriage, I had left him and gone to Washington. My daughter was 5. And I had told him, if you don't get help, I'm not going to come back. And at that time, I was very naive. I thought the person only had an alcoholic problem. I didn't even know about the drug use because he never used drugs in front of me. And I'll tell anybody that the man always used nice colognes. His breath always smelled like Listerine. So I never suspected him of drug use or anything. So it's like, but if I'm not telling you this story, you're not going to know it. And the haters won't know it because they're going to come in here and look. I was a very naive person, and I had already left him 5 years into the marriage. And he went to Alcoholics Anonymous and got help. I thought he got help. That's how naive I was. It's like, and then you come back and he had this big, what are those called? Notebook with papers in it. And I opened it because he was at work. I don't know, it was on top of the table. I opened it. And I started reading the little notes from people that were at AA meetings. And they kept telling him, why do you keep bringing her family up? Why do you keep, bringing her family up? And a lot of them were talking about my family. And, when I was married to him, I could not be outside in my yard. I could not be in the backyard. I didn't know why. He would always say, I was raised in Chicago, and over there was always drive-by shootings, and you shouldn't be in the yard, and don't have our daughter out in the yard. So I never really enjoyed the house. That house, I didn't enjoy it. And when I came here and bought this little shack, I got together after a year with somebody that lived with me 6 years. That man is now passed away for a better life. But the 6 years that man lived here, he would tell me, you know what, Chaparrita, let's go outside, make a coffee. Or he would say, make a drink, because I always had liquor. I always have liquor in my house. Make us a drink and we'll sit outside. Then he would say, hey, you know what, let's walk to the freeway, which is a block from here, and then we'll walk back. But he always would say, let's sit outside. And he taught me how to love this house, how to enjoy this house, how to enjoy sitting on the porch and drinking a coffee at this house. And now I do it on my own because he hasn't lived here since 2011. But it's like, if I don't tell you guys this, if I don't share these stories with you, then you really won't know why we're hard with other people. If I have always lived my life with rules, and my rules are hard for myself, do you think that I'm just going to allow anybody into my house? No. There's very few people that have been inside my house. And if I have a job, I already spend 8 hours with my coworkers at my job, or 12. I don't bring them home with me. I don't spend my days off with them. They're my coworkers. I spend my time at work with them. I will back them up 100% while I'm there with them. But I don't bring them home with me. And there's got to be a separation of jobs and family. And even between families, there's still a separation, So at no point in time was I laughing at the situation that the mother is going through. Priscilla's having her own hard enough time. She had gotten evicted. She had to look for another place to live. And yet, here's people that are talking smack all the time about, using your children's money, but your children still have to pay housing. And if they have a check coming in because they're handicapped or whatever, hi Maria Guzman, then it is the responsibility of the mom to think about the shelter that their children are going to live under with that money. That's why that money is provided to them. And it is her responsibility to teach that child that if one day she's not there, that child is going to have to know how to live within his means. And it's hard to do that. So I'm sure that Priscilla had to use her dad's disabled money and her child's money to give a down payment and a rent to get into another house where she was still gonna allow this person to live in, even if it was the garage. That person would have still had a roof over her head, minus those 17 dogs. And I'm not laughing. I'm just telling you the facts how they are, straight up facts. But you want to say that I'm not seeing the mom's side. I don't have to see the mom's side. I don't know her. I know she's been laughing at my sister and her family on her ugly pages for 5 years. She's been laughing at me on her ugly pages for 4 years. And she blocked me on the Maria page from the very beginning because she started her page laughing at me. And I'm still not laughing at her because I don't know her. And I really don't see all the things that she writes on the Maria page about me. Because I have already told Ophelia, whatever they send you, don't tell me about it. I already know that I'm the frog. I already know that I'm Soo Moon-yoon, the North Korean president. And you still disrespect me. Even if I'm the North Korean president, you still disrespect me. So it's like, I don't need to know that person. She blocked me from her pages from the very beginning. And I don't see her pages. I don't see a lot of these people that talk. I see some Raymond Billion because I love KK. And KK puts her on Facebook and makes me laugh. But no. We are hard. As Southern Texan people, we are hard. I was having a conversation with somebody last night. And I was telling them, I am not a Republican, but I will back Abbott up. Greg Abbott wants to divide Texas from the United States and make Texas its own country. He's got my support. Why? Because the United States is doing a lot of stuff with the money that Greg Abbott sends the federal government from our tax dollars to other countries that are not helping us. And I'm not a Republican. I have no quibbles with the LGBTQ plus 2 community. But don't call me one of them. There's plenty of men in my community. I just don't have to tell you about them. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I haven't had sex in I don't know how long. That would be crazy. It's like, but if you're over 35, don't look my way. And you want to call me a cougar? You can call me a cougar. But I don't want to be hearing about your damn diabetes, high blood pressure, or backache. Am I being too honest? Maybe, for some men. But if you need a blue pill, then look the other way. you know? So that's the way I see it. Why do I see things that way? It's because, I tell women, if you sit down at your table, not mine, sit down at your table with a pencil and a pen and a paper. Why do I want you to use a pencil first? I want you to use a pen for all the things that you contribute to in your household. The house note, the car note, the water bill, the light bill, the phone bill, the credit card bills, the grocery bill. You see how fast those bills grow? Then, on the other side with a pencil, write down what your partner, and I'm saying partner, because this includes both sex marriages, same sex marriages, and men and women marriages. And if you have a triple marriage, that's on you. But put everybody that contributes to the household in a pencil. Then with a pen, put what things everybody contributes to and what things they do not contribute to. And then add up what is it all half and half? Is it 70-30? Is it 70-40? Is it 50-50? Who's paying 70% of those bills? Because if it's you, and all you get from that person every Friday is, I'm going with my buddies to drink, I'm going fishing with my buddies, but yet you never hear them telling you, hey, let's go fishing. You know what? Let's sit outside and drink a coffee. I always got told by my family that this person that I lived with 6 years here in my house in South Texas didn't contribute to anything. But he contributed, as far as I'm concerned, he contributed to my stabilizing my conscious mind of what it was to sit on a porch and enjoy a coffee and just watch cars go by. When 14 years, I couldn't sit outside my house at all. And there was things that he didn't contribute to, but like right now, I'll tell people, you see if you drive by my house, you'll see boards on my windows. They've been there since Hurricane Dolly. I had to put those boards up by myself. That person was still living with me, but he decided that the house where his children lived in was more important than my house. So he went to put boards on those windows and not on the windows here. So I put the boards up myself, and I never took them down because I have central air and heat. So I don't have to have a window with sunlight coming in, because if I want sunlight, I will go outside. I don't need a window to see what's going on outside from the inside of my house. Once I close the door to this house and I'm in here, I don't care what's going on outside. But he did give me that. So I thank him for allowing me to enjoy this house that I bought for myself when I was 40. And, I can see both sides of having a rental home and paying taxes all your life on it and having an apartment and not having to worry about paying taxes at the end of the year, or not having to worry about cutting the yard, or not having to worry about a lot of stuff. Those are things that you don't need extra on your mind. And I can see both sides. But I have a lot of space here. I don't need to hear nobody vacuuming upstairs. You know what I mean? It's like I have a lot of stuff that is a plus in my life. I hear my birds all day. And at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, I tell them it's sleepy time. And I put 3 towels on top of their 2 cages. It's like, but it's like these people want to Bible thump, and it's like, no, don't Bible thump to me. Make sure that in your life, you are doing what you have to do to get to heaven at the end of the day, at the end of your time here. Make sure that when you get resurrected and you get judged by God Almighty, because we all will, that your name is on that roster in the book of life. You make sure that your name is there. And I always joke around with everybody, and I tell them, I'm going to be waiting for you in the gates of hell, and I'll be opening the doors for you. Whether you're a Christian at a Christian church, whether you're Catholic in a Catholic church, or whether you're a Buddhist or Methodist or Baptist, or even if you're a Rastafarian, I'll be opening the gates of hell for you. Do I know that I'm going to be in the gates of hell? No. But it makes everybody laugh that I want to be the one opening the doors for everybody at the gates of hell. It's like I have a little far side. I wonder if I can get it on my refrigerator, and it says, what's the difference between a glass of water from the tap and a bottled water? And then it says $2, about $2. Because you know what? It doesn't matter if you test the water on the faucet or if you test the water in a bottled water. Both of them are going to have fecal matter. In other words, both of them are going to have shit, just like this person that told me that I was laughing at the situation of this other person. And I'm like, and I've already been talking about it for more than an hour right now on 2 different shows. It's like, no, nobody really gives a shit about that person. Now, does that person care about herself enough to stop her hate pages? No. Because she still will go to everybody's, hi Cinder Garza, she will still go to everybody's parking lot that has Wi-Fi and steal their Wi-Fi and make ugly memes about Ophelia, her family, and me. But I don't care. It's like, you're not going to faze me, but don't Bible thump to me either. It's like, no. Make sure that you get to the roster in the book of life. That's what is going to matter at the end of your journey. At the end of my journey, I have to take care of myself too, and I have to make sure that my name is on that roster. So I thank everybody that was here. And, just know that these Bible thumpers are not going to get removed or hidden by me. And I thank Nadia for, not allowing nobody to be smack talking here. But it's like, no, if you want a Bible thump, open your platform and Bible thump. And, but don't do it on my time. Don't come to me and tell me that I'm laughing at somebody's situation, because in your mind, and if you've been following these pages, that I haven't been working for 2 years. But I have not yet asked anybody for anything neither. So it's like, have I gone through savings? Yes. all of them almost. But it's okay. I haven't fallen. You know, did I pay the taxes on this property at the end of the year? Yes, I had to. So it's like I haven't fallen. So don't worry about, thanks, Scarlett. Don't worry about if Ophelia laughs at you or if Ophelia calls you out. Because I can smile just like Ophelia. And I can talk very slow, slower than Ophelia. Pero te mando a chingar tu madre igual que Ofelia. You know, maybe not as loud as Ofelia. ¿Por qué? Porque a mí tampoco me valen 1,000 hectáreas de verga. And I will do it. You know, it's like people think that because they can talk low in a lower tone and candor than Ofelia, that they're being nice. No, they're not being nice. They're still being shitty. They're just being shitty in a lower tone and candor than Ophelia's is. You know, does it but hurt you that I'm telling you that your shittiness in a low tone is still just as shitty as Ophelia's, my sisters? If your followers didn't tell you because they're the same way, that's not my problem. You know, that is really truly not my problem. But we can all be shitty in a low tone and candor. Or we can all be loud like Ophelia and be shitty too. Just don't say that I was laughing at somebody's situation when that person has been laughing at my situation for the last 2 years and a half. You know, it's like I choose not to see her shit. There makes a difference. She chose to live in the car with 17 dogs. Don't blame her daughter. Her daughter was allowed the same opportunity that the mother was allowed on another platform, on Ophelia's platform. Go ahead and do it again, Priscilla. Call Ophelia up and tell her, Ophelia, I need to still voice out some more stuff because you know what? We don't have to be a silo for anybody. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day because it's a nice day in South Texas. Bye, everybody.